I'm Jordan Moore, alongside Sean Cody, Keely Yor, soon to be joined here by the head coach, Lindsay Gottlieb. We are presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. Ready to take it to the next level? Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy Unleash the Beast. And our head coach interview is presented by iTrust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Thank you to Lindsay Gottlieb for opening the show for us tonight. Coach, great to have you as always. Moved up to number 5 in the country as we we're a little ways into this season now. How has it gone so far? To your expectations, what's the progress been?
Well, thanks for having me. I didn't realize we were shutting down the year for the show.
We saved the best for last.
I know. I'm excited to be here. How has it gone according to expectations? As a coach, you don't come in with this notion of what it's supposed to look like. You show up to work every day trying to get the group of women to be as good as we can be. Obviously, we're disappointed to lose to Notre Dame. I'm not going to pretend that was a bright spot, but that's not really what it's about. I think the test of success in college basketball, you have to have talent, right? You're not in the conversation if you don't have talent or the right people. Once you do and you're in that, let's say, echelon, then it's all about how you handle the things along the way. Wins, losses, a random Tuesday in, December when players have finals, all the things. And so I do think, according to that, we have a group that's locked in, that hangs on every message I have, that's trying to get better. And I think that's what we've done. I thought we were really good at Oregon. Not perfect. We turned the ball over too much, but we were locked into a game plan. I thought defensively, our bigs were elite and our guards really took on the challenge. And that was a big improvement from the last time we played, a top opponent. And so I think we're right where we're supposed to be. Continuing to get better, and we have a lot of good pieces, but they're all new together. We lost a key one. Hopefully she'll be coming back soon. And so to be on that trajectory, I didn't even look at the rankings today. I really don't care. We're just trying to measure ourselves against, what we think is good basketball and keep trying to get there.
Coach, a big one the other night for JuJu with 40 points and 10,000 three-pointers. Obviously a good one. Was the goal in that game to get her into one of those games, or is that kind of something that just spontaneously happened throughout the evening?
Our goal all the time is to just on the offensive end, make the right read, play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And I think JuJu, to her credit, people ask me all the time, what surprises you, or what are her greatest characteristics, or what it's like coaching. Is it like coaching her? I think one of her greatest aspects is her ability with the circus that goes on around her and everything she carries, on her shoulders, is she has this really incredible ability for a young person to continually look inward and say, okay, what can I control? What can I do better? And to self-reflect. And she's always working, obviously, on her game and on shooting and on the reads. But also she, in and of herself went back and said, okay, I got to play with a little more joy. I have to let the game come to me. And that's a pretty remarkable thing for a 19-year-old to do. And I just thought she made every right read in the game. They were going under ball screens. They were giving her a big cushion, and she shot it, and then she shot it again, and then she sprayed it, and then she shot it, and she got on a heater from 3 that we knew was coming. I wouldn't have predicted 9 for 11, which was unbelievable. But it was a byproduct of approaching practice in the games the right way and taking what the defense gave her. And anytime you come to Galen with this team and with that young woman, you might see something spectacular. And we did that night, and she made it look very seamless and very easy.
Looking at this roster this season from maybe an outside perspective, it seems like, you add more talent, so the chemistry will come, but I'm assuming it's hard to gel a new team together. How is that piece going so far?
It's part of modern college athletics. We're all doing it, right? You want to develop the core that you have. You want to we added really good freshmen, and we added really good portal pieces. So yes, it takes a little bit of time, but that's the job that's in front of us, and it's been going really well. I think that we're all figuring one another out. We're now playing with a dominant front court scorer, as well as the best all-around scorer, we think, in college basketball and JuJu, and a lot of good other people who can really make plays, and trying to figure out, when do we play fast, when do we slow it down and execute, how do we utilize everybody, when are we playing with 2 bigs, when are we playing with 4 guards and 1 big, and so we have high standards even as we're getting better, but we want the growth trajectory to be there, and continue to be a team that comes in with a lot of talent and it continues to improve over the course of the months of the basketball season.
You're listening to the head coach of USC women's basketball, Lindsay Gottlieb, on Trojans Live. If you didn't look at the rankings, it's a lot of Big Ten. It is a deep league, and you just got started in Oregon. Obviously, a funny way to start because they're a familiar opponent from our previous league. How is Big Ten basketball different on the women's side? It was such a great league in the Pac-12, so it's not necessarily a major step up in class. Maybe across the board. It's just different. How is it from what you've seen from the landscape?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely made sure to let our team know that we were starting Big Ten play, and teams are either going to be 0-1 or 1-0. And of the 18 teams in the league, currently 9, at least as of last week, like I said, I haven't looked today, but 9 were ranked in the top 25. It is legit. I think the biggest difference, because you're right, Jordan, we're not entering this great league. We have come from a really, really good, strong league. The difference is that there are 18 teams. We are not familiar with them, and we only get everyone once, except for UCLA. So we have to approach each game almost like an NCAA tournament game. You get one shot. You don't get to say, okay, let's figure it out and get a do-over when we get back home or something. That's just not how we're going to approach it. The other thing that's interesting is we don't know these teams as well. I felt like the Pac-12 coaches, I knew what they were going to do out of a timeout. I knew what they were going to do on the road. What they go to off of a win or a loss. Everything's new, even for our players. These aren't the players they grew up playing against every single day. And so we have to, be ready to bring something different to the table that they're not prepared for. And we have to be really good at what we do and also a quick study in what to look for. Overall, I would say as I've tracked it for the last several years, there's higher levels of scoring in the Big Ten. I don't know that the defense is as grinded out as we've seen in the Pac-12. We shall see. I think there's some teams that play with a really big, rugged post player and other teams that try to run a little bit more. So I wouldn't say there's one style that characterizes everyone, but, we're looking forward to be able to play up tempo, to put some points on the board, and maybe to be able to defend people in a way, with our athleticism that other teams can't.
Coach, big announcement with Chipotle doing an NIL deal with JuJu and the whole team getting that on board. Were you a integral part of that? And how do I get myself a burrito bowl? Yeah. What's the tie-in there to bring this all together?
Well, I have one particular staff member, Coach Dale, who's very upset that he didn't get that black card, which is like the unlimited.
Ooh, I didn't know about that.
I know. So the staff is definitely not included, unfortunately, but we've talked to the players about swiping us in once in a while. No, it's a really cool thing. Integrally involved, probably not. I have a GM, Amy, that has taken the lead with it. I do think, JuJu and her team are really good about spreading the love. My understanding is that maybe she had a deal with Chipotle and suggested to them, hey, why not look into how great the team is? Yeah. We do spend time eating together, hanging out, and Chipotle jumped on that, and it's the first team-wide deal that Chipotle has done. It's really neat. Each player individually had the decision to sign on. They all did. So they get some money from it. They get their Chipotle card. They did a photo shoot at the local Chipotle, and it's a really, really neat thing. It's sort of the NIL, I think, really done right. Yeah. A great example of being able to use their platform and the USC women's basketball platform to do something cool, to spend time together, which they did, and then to have some really cool photos and content come out. So neat day for them. I told them I looked at their posts and thought they looked great, and now let's have a good practice.
You mentioned your GM, Amy. That's a new role for your staff. What's that been like, adding that to your group?
It's I want to thank Jen Cohen and Jason Capadoro, my supervisors, my boss, for suggesting this is something that could really enhance our programming. There was so much stuff coming at me last year, and we knew it was only going to quadruple, and it has. So it's allowed us to be proactive in that space. Actually, Amy's up at Nike today meeting with those good folks about some branding things and opportunities. She provides and we provide a service for each player individually, helping to build their own brand and, source some deals. But she also is doing things just program-wide, team-wide, helping to enhance, our brand, tracking, obviously, Instagram followers and stuff. And she allows us to do what we do on the court, but then to allow us to take a lead in the the business end of things and really make, USC women's basketball as prominent as we can be off the court, and let us work to do what we need to do on the court and look good with the gear and the uniforms and all the different layers of what, of what the business of sport can look like now.
Yeah, and part of that prominence off the court is providing that platform on the court. And, you know, your schedule has done that as well this year. You mentioned the Notre Dame game, which, you know, it didn't go your way, but was a tremendous day at the Galen Center with Michael B. Jordan and Snoop Dogg sitting there courtside. Pretty awesome. Jason Sudeikis. And you already played a game in Paris. And then upcoming, you're playing UConn. And I think you have a football lead into that one. I mean, how important was it for you as you laid it out to get these sort of showcase moments for this program and this sport right now, which is really embracing the spotlight?
Yeah, I mean, I was really conscious, obviously, to know, you know, to recognize the moment that we're having in women's basketball, which I think is going to be lasting. I don't think it's a singular moment, but then also the fact that we have, you know, the star power in JuJu and the rest of the team that, you know, we want to take advantage and put ourselves on that highest platform. In addition, makes you better, you know, to play these teams as well. So had more conversations, you know, with TV execs and people in those rooms than I ever had before, you know, coming out of last season. And we wanted to make sure we were strategic. There was a lot of thought behind it. Obviously, the Paris game was a neutral site and a, you know, really cool site, but we wanted to do home and homes as well, and, you know, allow our fans to see us in marquee games, you know, go on the road and have the UConn fans see us, and they'll come back next year. But that was really important. And then, you know, Fox was in the conversations really early about the time of the game and that they could put us on a major network. And then they told me when I went to the Big Ten meetings that, you know, not only did they, you know, prioritize our game, but then they bid to get Ravens Steelers as the lead in. So what an opportunity to, you know, you have your people are going to tune in because they know women's basketball and they want to, you know, watch that game, but you're also going to get a lot of football fans who maybe wouldn't ordinarily watch a women's basketball game. We're going to sprinkle in so we could set some records there. So those are things that are important, both, you know, the off the court growing and the brand, but also just the on the court competition. You know, you got to be at your best to play these top teams, you know, and that's exactly where we want to be.
That game is to come. USC women's basketball has a game tomorrow, though. They'll take on Fresno State at the Galen Center, 6 p.m. tip. So get to usctrojans.com/tickets and Phil Galen for that one. Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way. That was our Women's Spotlight brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, open 7 days a week. Visit your neighborhood Sprouts for good-for-you groceries and great prices on the freshest produce. We're going to talk a little baseball. Speaking of spring sports coming up, we have a new pitching coach, Sean Allen. He's next on Trojans Live.